is so critical and so important because we all know that there isn't necessarily the right amount of history and curriculum in our schools that point and highlight all of these important contributions from so many of our residents. And I think it's an extraordinary, amazing thing to have so close by this extraordinary Smithsonian Museum of African American Culture and History. And it's so important because there has to be a repository and a space and a place, especially to not only honor the efforts and the struggles and the contributions of so many, but especially for young people. And when I had the opportunity to visit with my daughters, it was extraordinary for me to see the faces of young people, of children that were, for the first time perhaps, seeing all of this in context. And the one piece that really stood out for me was at the very beginning when you go down to the basement and you start going through the exhibitions, and there are all these illustrations of how at one point in time, right, many of these different regions in Africa, they were at the same exact, I would say, level as many of the European merchants and trade people, and so there wasn't that distinction that came later on with the slave trade. And to see the faces of children understanding where the history comes from and the resilience then that defines people of color in this country and in the Americas in general, because it's a whole entire hemisphere, I think it's so important. And so for me personally, it has helped guide two extraordinary daughters. One of them has a birthday today, so she's turning 20. And my oldest, that will be 25, is children who were born and raised in this country. My husband, who's from Haiti, and trying to really navigate this whole notion of identity in this country has been a very interesting journey. But what I always say is that it is critical to understand the history and the extraordinary civilizations and the extraordinary contributions that our ancestors have made, because then that defines how you see yourself and the potential that you actually have, no matter where you are. So to me, these are very important moments, and there shouldn't just be videos that we watch during this particular time. It should really guide every single policy decision that we make. It should guide our desire to work in building coalition, and it should guide how we make budgetary decisions, because to me, that's how it gets translated. This is our job. It is to translate all of this rhetoric into action and to be very bold when it comes to eliminating so many disparities that continue to exist. And so I congratulate all of you who will be receiving proclamations, because you have been there and been working real hard. And I know sometimes I get tired, but I can only imagine how you must sometimes get tired of fighting the same fight over and over again. But it's important, and it's really important to pass that baton. So thank you to everyone for this. I consider this gift that will live on through this video and this celebration. Thank you.